Good evening, everyone. Welcome you all to the final day of the International Virtual Workshop on Research Methodology and Research Writing, jointly organized by Lavent Literary Club India, Cap Comedian Trust, and Malaysian Industrial Relations and Human Resource Association Malaysia. Today we have two speakers, Dr. Siti Amalia Mohad Roy, Senior Lecturer, University of Malaysia. Second speaker, Dr. P. Harshini, Assistant Professor, PG and Research Department of English, Etiraj College for Women, Chennai. So let's start off with the first resource person, Dr. Siti Amalia Mohad Roy, charismatic and dependable person with few years of experience in delivering education assistance and instructions to master and degree level of students, committed to providing students with necessary tools to achieve academic goals, instilling love of learning and cooperative teamwork. Currently active in conducting online coaching for online business. So it's our immense pleasure to invite to this scenario. Welcome you, ma'am. Over to you.
Okay, thank you so much to our moderator tonight. Uh, I thought that in Malaysia we are already night. Okay. Hello everyone. Good day to all of you. As you know that I'm Dr. Amalia. I'm from University Malaysia Kelantan, Malaysia. And today was topic given to me is on the qualitative research, and I'm quite nervous because of qualitative research. If I would like to explain in detail, and indeed it's taking a long a day workshop should be, but as giving to me today only 1 hour, so I'm trying my best to deliver whatever I have now. Okay, let me share my slide. Okay. As everyone know that when we are writing research or what we call that a thesis, we are conducting with either qualitative, quantitative, or mixed method. So let me brief a bit on the introduction chapter. That's most of us or mostly postgraduate student that confused with the background of the study and what is the problem statement is all about. So in the background of study, usually we put the information, the introduction about the industry or about the company or whatever you are trying to focus, which is if you are trying to focus about the leadership in the organization, so you need to mention about the leadership in the organization. And you explain your understanding based on your review from the previous articles or journals from based on your readings and so forth. And you are explaining in your background is about the interface of your literature review. Okay, what actually problem statement or research problem? It relates to the issues that you are collect, that you are gained, that you are knowing about the topic that you want to study, the problems that occurs, the problem that you are trying to solve. Okay, what is the burning issue in this topic or this in this field work, and outcome oriented that you need to mention in the problem statement. Okay, does pages count important in this part? Actually, in the research problem, usually we are taking with between 1 pages into 2 pages. This is I mentioned based on the postgraduate problems lah. Okay, and then I go to the research question and research objective. Actually, they have different between qualitative and quantitative method, which is it's differ in their focus method and also types of research question. Okay, some in quantitative, most of the question ask about what and what. But in qualitative, we can ask about in our research question we can say that about how, what, and also why. So it's a mix. So for research objective, we can mention to what extent, to examine, to explore is huge objective that we can obtained from the qualitative. Okay, this is a few key characteristics of qualitative research question. First, is nature of research question itself. If we can see the difference here, quantitative research typically is question that seek to establish relationship, which is they are trying to look into the significance between the hypothesis and so forth. So this question often aim to determine the extent and frequency or any magnitude of the phenomena actually. Okay, I put the example here, which is what is the correlation between income level and educational attainment. This is one of the example for the research question for quantitative lah. Okay, but for the qualitative, most of the researcher question that they are putting is more on exploration and aim to understand the meaning or experience and also social process surrounding the phenomena. But this question often delve into a more subjective perspective, a more contextual and individual interpretation. For example, here I put how do a teachers perceive the impact of classroom diversity on student learning. So you can see that what and how some sort of difference. In quantitative, we cannot ask how in research question. Okay. So the second one is measurement and variable. If we can see in quantitative, research question in quantitative study usually involve measurable variable. Okay. In quantitative, we have independent variable, dependent variable, and it's really on statistical analysis. And the researcher usually use precise measurement and standardization instrument that to collect a data that they needs to answer the research question. So I put some example of research question for quantitative that based on the measurement of variable here, which is what is the effect of specific medication dosage on blood pressure levels. But in qualitative, we can see that study more focus on to understand the complex phenomena in the real life. And these variables may not explicitly define by the previous research, or the researcher try to collect the data through interview, they are collecting the data through the observations, or analyzing the document that they capture. Okay, for example here, what are the factors influencing individual career choice and aspiration? So let me go next. Okay, the third one, we have, I put three differentiation in terms of for the previous one, nature of research question, measurement and variable. But the next one is generalization, and also the last one specificity and depth. But for generalizability, it's more on the largest of populations. If we go to the quantitative, the population is very large, and numbers of size sample also very large as compared to the qualitative. So let's what quantitative often seek is to draw the conclusion on what can be applied to a broadened groups beyond the specific sample studies. For example, what percentage of adults in country prefer online shopping? But in qualitative, the researcher more focus on understanding a specific context that they are trying to elaborate, or they are trying to explore, and gaining in-depth insight to that field. So while finding maybe provides lots of knowledge or value inside, they are not typically means to be generalized to a large population. It's not focused on the population only. Okay. For example, here I put how do students experience and perceive the use of technology in classroom. Meanwhile, for last one, this one is specificity and depth. If quantitative research, the question tend to be precise and specific. But in qualitative research, the question often broad and open-ended. If you can see in quantitative, we have few instruments that when the respondent or participant answer, they cannot have their own answer, but they only tied to the answer given by the researcher. But in qualitative research, when we are going to gain the idea or insight from the respondent, from the informer can give their own answer, not based on our types of answer we are given lah. So it's more on open-ended. Okay, I put some example here also. Let's we go into the feeds. Okay, oh, if you can, I hope you can see this. The feeds of question that appropriate for the methods of study. In qualitative, we have few methods of study, but remain to yourself that methodology and methods is things different. But this is the methods of study for qualitative, which is phenomenology, ethnography, and grounded theory. The question that's suitable for phenomenology is a question about the meaning of the situation or the meaning of the problem and so forth. And the most one asking is what is the meaning and blah, blah, blah. And about the core or the essence of the phenomena or the experience the one respondent learn. Okay, and the second one for the ethnography is the question is more on the observational question, that what, for example here, what are the behavioral pattern you are trying to look in the subject, and descriptive question that about a belief or also the value and practice of a culture. For example, what is going on in this group of people or whatever the current situations. Okay. Meanwhile, for the grounded theory, the question is about changing experience over time or its stages of phase. It's involved what are the process involved in this organization, planning and so forth. It's about the process and it's about the timing. And the other one is how you're trying to understand the question, which is what are the dimensions of the experience that involved during the process, for example. Okay, that's a few example of type of question that mostly we need to put in our research question if you are using phenomenology, if you are using ethnography or grounded theory. So you cannot deny which part of you need to choose. So maybe you can have both, and maybe you can have one. Okay. So this is the outline of a methodology chapter. Usually I put, but it's not necessary follow this. But most of the research thesis, most of the report, research and so forth, it's the outline is best like this lah. Okay, let's we go into the research paradigm. Research paradigm is very important to determine which research methodology that you will be applied to your qualitative study. Okay, actually research paradigm they have many, but these two kind of research paradigms is applied to the qualitative study lah. Okay, so for transformativism or interpretivism, is ontological beliefs is more on the participation between researcher and the communities. But for the social constructivism, is multiple realities and is more on the construct through life experience and also lead to the complexity of the views rather than narrowing the meaning of that categories. So whatever paradigm you use, it leads you to the your ontology, your epistemology, and also methodological belief that you want to use during your study. So when you are, let's say you are using transformativism, So this is part of your study. So you need to mix and match back to your research problem or research question. You need to focus either your problems or your research question, focus on inquiries that link with the political or social actions. Maybe your study focus on the social issue and so forth. So you need to understand this paradigm. Okay, most of the social paradigm or social constructivism is apply for the epistemology is on the constructed lah. And the methodology used for the social constructivism is inductive method, and it's both of this methodology can be interviewed, and whatever you are trying to look in transformativism is more on the method, issues, concern and conflict as of course lah. Okay. In social constructivism, you can generate a theory. This is a deep research that you need to explore. Okay, methodology and method. I mentioned previously that you need to understand in your mind that methodology and method is something that different. Okay, if you are these types of paradigm: positivism, post-positivism, constructivism, and critical analysis, critical theory. Okay, for positivism, this methodology is experiments and survey, but their method is measurement, observation, or questionnaire. This positivism and post-positivism goes under quantitative, but post-positivism also can be qualitative. Okay, if you can see the difference between these both in terms of method and also methodology and also method. Okay, but constructivism is more on the phenomenology, it's more on case study, ethnography, and ground theory. So this constructivism is 100% goes under qualitative. It's also for critical theory, where methodology is more on the action research. So you need to interview to measure your focus group. So you need to interview the community and the organization to look into their action. Okay, this can involve pre and post action. Okay. Meanwhile, this is the when you understand the paradigm just now, so you can follow this step to collect your data. So in the ontology, you want to know what is the reality. So you go to, when you already know your ontology, you can go into the epistemology, which is here you are trying to look into what you want to know about the reality just now. Okay, so if the reality or knowledge that you want to know already are clear, so you go to the theoretical perspective, which is what approach can be used to get that knowledge. So when you are already have your theory perspective in your thesis, in your research, so you can go into the methodology. What procedure can be used to acquire knowledge, either case study, either you can go into the interview or observations, and then you use the method. What tools can be used to acquire that knowledge. Okay, and last but not least, you gain the data from the interview, from the observation, or from the documentations. Okay, I'm just mentioning about to you about the observation, about the interview. Okay, actually that one is qualitative research method. Okay, observation, one-to-one interview, focus group discussion, case study, ethnography, groundwork theory, and phenomenology. This is the example, this is the types of qualitative research method. And most of researchers nowadays using phenomenology, observation, focus group discussion, case study, and many researcher or postgraduate students very confused between case study and phenomenology, but you need to go deep to differentiate between these both. If I'm trying to explain all tonight, maybe I cannot cover few important parts in the qualitative, which is on the process of collecting the data. So I just explain the surface about this example or types of qualitative research method to you. Okay. Okay. After you are already know everything there, what kind of research qualitative research method you are applying for, what kind of paradigm you are using in your study, what kind of methodology you are choosing. So then we already there. We are already know what uh, qualitative is all about. So the most important thing after that is we are trying, if we are choosing the interview, either face to face or either focus group. So we need to design the interview protocol. Before someone going to the field work, they are need to prepare this lah, which is interview protocol or question for interview because of they are choosing structured or open-ended session. But then this protocol need to address, which is to give you a guide when you are during the field work. Okay. Why we choosing interview and observation? Because of interview, you can gain a yield information from the interview or observation is provide you detailed information that might not be retrieved or demonstrated in the past literature and so forth, or maybe from the interview and observation the information that you gain or you collect is not in the documentation yet. So this is the importance of interview and observation. It's also can triangulate, can use as a triangulation and also trustworthiness, which is whatever you see in the documentation, you are confusing or you are curious, either this company report the true one or they are reporting just to make it their company look good. So we are trying to look into the trustworthiness. So from the interview and observation also we can see what is really going on the field work. Okay. And I put here what's what we call that types of interview, which is either you are individual or you are using focus group discussion. So types of question could be types of interview method. Course in that it's suitable for face-to-face. Semi-structured is suitable for telephone or lead line or cell phone call. And open-ended, it could be through WhatsApp, through video call, WhatsApp, Skype, Google Meets, and Teams as well. This is I got from some of the previous scholar for these types of interview. Okay, in between you construct the interview protocols, you need to develop and providing these three musketeers. Okay, what is musketeers? Okay, let me explain to you how to develop interview question or protocol first. First, you need to have an introduction, which is you need to explain in detail. You need to clarify what is your study all about. You need to saying that this study focus on what kind of scope of your study. So then the respondent know that if your study is funded, so please inform the respondent or informer that your research or your study is funded by the which organizations. Okay. Next one, you need to know that when you are when you are construct the interview protocols, you need to divide into subsection, which is each subsection goes to the research question. If you have 4 research question, then there is possibly you could have 5 section in your research protocol. This is I mentioned based on the if you are choosing semi-structured interview question. Okay, if you are choosing open-ended, then it's dear to yourself. Just the session is based on the research questions in general. Okay, the you need to log first section for individual group, individual background. Second, which is most explaining about the marital status, explaining about their knowledge, explaining about their experience and so forth. But with the second section, then we goes into the research question or research objective. As third and follow also by the research question, our research question. Okay. And please make sure that at the end of your research protocols, you need to ask the respondent or informant about their perception. What is your ideas? Can you please brief to me? And maybe you can ask him or her about their suggestion or any tips that you that the informant can share with you. So this is to make them feel pleasure when they are sharing the information with you. So at the end, make sure that you are thanks this informant so that they are feel comfortable with whatever you are gain from them. Okay. Okay, what is the 3 musketeers that I mentioned just now? Okay, first, designing meaningful interview question. They have introduction, they have routines. What routines? What hypothetical that you need to ask them? Which is, let's say you are interviewing the lecturers regarding the what now happened online learning. So you need to understand their routines. You need to trying to ask this lecturer what he doing during the before and after the online learning and so forth. So we are trying to get close before we are go in depth with the our focus of study. Okay, future or hope. That one is you can put at the end of your research protocol, interview protocol, which is you are trying to get the hope ideas from the informers. Okay. Let me example of interview questions. I thought I have that one, but I will show you after this. Okay. Okay. Let me go next. Okay, the second musketeers is creating information sheets. So in your information sheets, you must bear with the question of 5W plus 1H, which is what, why, when, why, and what? When, wait. When, where, why, what, who. Okay, and the 1H is how. Okay, be in your mind that the investigators or the researcher are responsible to ensuring that when collecting or using the data, they are not contravening legal or regulation requirements. So you need some information. Okay, let me show this information sheet to you that I create for this workshop. Where I'll put that information sheet. Okay, example of participants information sheets, which is the title of your research. You can use a simple title. Let's say your title is very long, so make it simple that the informer know what it's all about, what your research is all about. So it's simple and easy to understand. Okay. Invitation paragraph. So you need to brief introduction. For example, before you start this, is this the example of words that you can use in the information sheet, which is before you decide to take part in the study, it is important for you to understand why the research is being done and what it will be involved in. Okay, so please take time to read the following information carefully and discuss it with others if you wish. So a member of the team can be contacted if there is anything that is not clear or if you would like to know more information. So take time to decide whether or not to wish take part in this research. So this is the participant inform sheet lah. So you also can explain the purpose of the study to the informer, stated the background or the aim of the study, what will be the importance of the study when complete and so forth. Okay, why have I been chosen? So the informer usually want to know why I'm chosen for this study. So you need to explain you are one of the potential participants that blah 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 blah, so which is suitable for my research topic and so forth. Okay, so some informer or respondent also ask, do I have to take parts? If I'm not take parts, how, why, and is it what happened if I'm not take parts? Okay, so you need to explain and that's what I'm mentioned here. The creating information sheet should have the 5W and plus 1 hash. Okay, so you need to understand why, what, why, when, why should I participate? Do I have to take parts? You need to explain that taking parts this in this research make it blah 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 and so forth lah. Usually when we are explain that to make sure that the respondent willings to participate. So we don't push them to participate. We don't let them feel that guilty or else. Okay, what will happen to me if I take part? So here you need to explain there is assessment will take part and how many will be there be and how long the assessment will be. So how long it will be? If you have answered a questionnaire previously, you can see that the questionnaire, the long questionnaire, taking so much time for you, so you don't want to answer. So same with the interview protocol as well. You need to explain that this question, this interview taking your time within 50 minutes or 60 minutes, not less than that, not more than that, like that. Okay, what do I have to do? So you need to make it clear if there is any lifestyle restriction as a result of participating, or let's say you asking them please stay only you in this interview, do not involve others or so forth. So you need to briefly explain to the participant. Okay, make clear if the video or audio taping will be used. So you need to make sure that the informer or respondent know that you are using this audio taping. Okay, I put the example here. Okay, so there is very details on the what should be in, why it should be in, why not, what will be happen, and so forth. So it's very detailed in this information sheet. Why this information sheet very important? Actually, is to persuade the informer to get their willingness to join our research, to participate in our research. So so we are very let's say I'm as a respondent, I'm very pleasure to join your research or to join your study because of this detailed information that I already know like that. Okay. So we go next, so which is number 3. Number 3, the last musketeers, which is you are trying to providing informed consent form. You previous research in qualitative, they are not kind to this consent form, which is there is no agreement between the informer and also researcher. But time by time, in this research study, we needs to providing the consent form that so that if any secret or information that should not reveal can be kept safe only for the research purpose, for the study purpose, not to the what we call that commercial or so forth. Okay. In the consent form, it's written and signed mutual agreement between the respondent or informant just now and also the researcher. Some example statement that include in the consent form, which is I confirm that I have read and understand the participations information sheets, so I can sign, and so put the sign. Okay, I have had the opportunity to ask question and I had them answer. I understand that all the personal information will remain confidential and that all effort will be made to ensure I cannot be identified. And that I agree that the data gathered in the study may be stored anonymous and securely. I understand that my participation is voluntary and that I am free to withdraw at any time without giving a reason. Okay, this is very important. Means that we not push the participant, we not push the informer to still in our interview session. So we let them freely to withdraw anytime if they are feel that uncomfortable with our interview session. Okay. And the last one, I agree to take part in the study. Okay, let me check what the example of consent form I provided here. Okay. Okay, so you should have study title in consent form, your name, your institution names, your address, emails, or phone number that can be contacted by the informer. So you introduce here about your research study, the purpose of your study, what are you looking for, your focus, your scope of study, okay, the purpose and study procedure also you need to mention here. Okay, you are taking interview, either focus group or one's qualitative interviews, confidentiality of the information gets, a voluntary participation, potential risk and benefit, what benefit the informer gets, what's the risk from this research. If I'm involved in this research, what the potential risk I could get. Okay, so you need to brief to the informer in this consent form. Okay, contact information, result dissemination, and last but not least is the concern. Whereas by participating in the study, you acknowledge that you have read these information sheets and understood its contents and have had the opportunity to ask the question about what and what and what. Okay, so sign and put your name and that's all. That's the consent form. Usually, this is some sort of example, but it's depend on the field of study actually. Some information that we are gathered in general, so we no need to provide this consent form. But if the information we are trying to gather is the secrets of the company, what we call that, something that very secure that we need to taking care. So this consent form is very important. Okay. Let me go to the next. Okay, 6 practical steps for virtual interview and observation. Okay, because of we are trying to seek the information maybe across the border. So the most today we are using virtual interview and observation. So the most practical step that we need to understand or we need to bear in our mind, which is location visual site, which is what kind of suitable platform that we can use. Now, if previously, if still remember that most of the virtual activities we did is using Skype, but some parts of the country not well versed in Skype. So then Teams come over, which is Microsoft Teams, and also Zoom, but Meet is most famous online platform that used for the interview because it's easy and friendly, user friendly. Okay. Develop protocol, and just I mentioned to you just now that you need to develop the protocol. The protocol you can send earlier before the interviews start, but you also if the protocol only as a guideline, which is not a structured question, so you can keep to yourself. So you can send the consent form or information form just now. Okay. But the consent form also can be recorded, so there is no need to get a signature from the informer. As long as you read the consent form to him or her, so during that recording session, the informer saying that I'm willing to participate, I'm already know the details about the study, so the consent form just read together. Okay. The third one, pilot your session, which is to make sure that there is nothing barrier or anything happen between the interview session. We need to make sure that this interview session goes smoothly. So you need to get familiar with the, of course lah, with the technologies or platform as well. Okay. You start the pilot the session first. Okay. And then to make that virtual interview is secure, you need to record and last and in between record the session, you need to fill notes, which is take the notes, the important point. Usually the important point when the information you already take notes, because of when the interview sessions are recorded, sometimes the important notes are not very clear. Also, there is the importance of why you need to take a few notes. Okay. Slowly withdraw. At least let the gatekeeper know that you are withdrawing from the session and thank them that involved in this interview session. So I'm thankful for you to involve in my research. It's my pleasure to have you in my research interview session today, like that. Okay, because of when we are thanking them means that we are appreciate their informations. Okay, do not drag far, which is we need to focus on the phenomena or the into the field of our study. Do not rush into question or observation, which is you need to be nature, which is you need to be friendly with the informer so that the information you gain is huge, not the not blocking by the what we call that gaps of you between you and the informer. When you have a gap between your researcher and the informer, and of course the information you gain is not deep information. Okay, that's the six step in the interview. Okay, I thought this is not the last slide. We have another slide, but let's we know what is the ethical consideration why you have the interview. When you interview the informer or respondent just now, you need to understand what is your role actually. Okay, you are active or passive. It's depend on the interview types, which is complete participant, participant as observer, observer as participant, or complete observer. I do put note here the difference between these type of participant. If you check this, complete participant, which is the active, also known as a active participant, which is they do not reveal their role as a researcher or observer to other participants. Is that you are among the others of the informer or participant for this research study. So you are not revealed that you are the one of the researcher in this study. So everyone in who are ever participate in your study do not know that you are the researcher. You also will be the one that participate for your study. Okay. Participant as observer. This is the individual actively take part in the research activity, but also act as an observer. Okay. Complete observer. This is the observer who solely observe and document the research without participate directly with the research. Okay. What ethical you need to consider is ensure easy and strong internet connectivities, which is when you have a strong internet connections that make your virtual interview smooth. Okay, mutual agreement on virtual platform, permission to be in the group, and to record the audio. But I mentioned to you just now, you let the audience, let the informer know about this interview session will be recorded. Please give me a permission. Okay, so that's the points of how you what we call get the agreement between you and the informer. Okay, informed consent and form can be read and recorded. What I already mentioned this previously. Okay. Most of the I got a few questions from the postgraduate students. What are the challenges if I'm doing this virtually? I'm trying to conduct my interview using Google Meet. What are the common challenges, doctor? So I come up with a few challenges, which is the common challenges that most of the postgraduate student or researcher face, which is technical issue. Most of the participants somehow may face most of the let's say I'm as a researcher, I know that I already have a pilot's this session, but participants somehow they are faced with the technical difficulties. It's related to their internet connections, the software, which is when we are using Microsoft Teams, that's very heavy, so it's not suitable for their laptop and so forth. The audio and video quality also very poor, and somehow you when you are recording the video, the image are blurs. If you are recording the audio, the sounds is not very clear. It's the technical issue. Okay, so how to what we call that, to make sure this technical issue is not happen during the interview session. So you need to have that what we call that just now pilot the session first. Okay, so there is no issue can disrupt your data collection session. Okay, the second one is participant engagement. more challenging if the participant attention and engagement compared to in-person interaction, because of participant may be easily distracted by their other works. Let's say I'm just now I'm having virtual session with you. Maybe you are trying to do another task behind me that I don't know. Okay, expressing Zoom fatigue, which is can affect the level of involvement and quality of the data collection. I'm expressing that participant engagement issue when many of my students they got an issue with where is the informer or participant have the visitor during the interview session. So the interview session drag so long because of the participant needs to pause the session first and get communication with the visitor first, and then after that the participant came back to the interview session. That's normal things. Actually, if you are trying to reduce this a challenge, you need to inform the participant or informer that please let the interview session run smoothly without any interaction with visitor or so forth. So it's so the informer can take corrective action lah. So there is no visitor allowed during that session. Okay, limited non-verbal cues. Okay, if you are going face to face interview, you can see the body language, you can see the facial expression, gestures, and so forth. But in verbal, when you are conducting the interview verbally, certain body language, certain facial expression or gestures, it will miss out, okay, misinterpretation somehow. If I'm laughing, so you think that I'm laughing because I'm happy, but somehow I'm laughing because I'm sad. So you don't know that. This is the misinterpretation of that body language and so forth. Okay. Last but not least, this is only for the common challenges. Maybe they have few others challenges. I'm just list out the most important or most common happen in the when we are conducting interview virtually lah. Okay, digital literacy and access, where is not all participants that familiar with the virtual platform we are using. Some they are possess the necessary digital literacy skill that are to navigate online data collection process effectively lah. Okay. So next, checklist. Okay, I'm trying to list out the pre-virtual conducted lah. Before you conduct the virtual interview, what you need to prepare first. Okay, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is based on my experience. Actually, whatever I'm doing is I have to develop the 3 musketeers I'm explaining just now. Okay, we have to gain the permission to interview. To gain the permission to interview is very easy if you are knowing that person or you already contacted them first before starting the session. Okay, have you identified your roles, which is you already know that you are interviewer, you're not the informer. So when you are interviewing, you just not giving the ideas or ask, but you are asking the question. Okay, have you ensured the participant receive your 3 musketeers just now? Okay, do you have the means for virtual conduct? Are you ready with the interview protocols and observational protocol? Have you developed reports and have you confirmed your obligation? And last but not least, have you pilot your study? So this is whatever you are trying to, it's not only for virtual interview, but it also very useful if you are conducting a interview face to face. Okay. Okay. After you get all the data, you collect the data, and then we go to the data analysis. I have listed out here 5 common methods of qualitative data analysis. It have content analysis, it have narrative analysis, it have discover analysis, it have thematic analysis, and also grounded theory. So most common today, people using a thematic analysis, which is It's called Teams encoding your data. Let's using based on my experience. I'm saying based on my experience. I'm not using manually because I'm having software during my study. I'm using Atlas CI software, and for qualitative we have two software actually, which is NVivo software. But since the Atlas CI is much cheaper than NVivo, so I'm using Atlas CI. For postgraduate student, I'm suggest Atlas CI, but for the institution, I'm suggest NVivo. Okay, what actually we need to analyze? So first, we need to define research question and objective, which is you need to clearly articulate your research question and objective to guide you in data analysis. So you prepare the data, you have descriptive statistic, whereas you calculate and examine the descriptive statistic to summarize and to explore main characteristic of your data. And you put your exploratory data analysis, whereas you conduct the exploratory data analysis technique to uncover pattern, relationship, or you are trying to check the technique maybe include measures such as correlation, and somehow you are trying to look into the frequency of coding or stains that saying by the informer. For example, from out of 10 informer, I got only one not agree with my statement, or from out of 10 of my respondent, most of them, majority of them are very passionate in their online learning and so forth. That is how you explore it, the conducting the exploratory data analysis. And last one is an inferential statistic. Okay, that's I cannot read all since time is running out actually for us. Okay, you can see this how actually in the data analysis for qualitative, you need to know how to coding the data. When you are having a video recording or audio recording just now, you need to transcribe. This transcribe usually taking longer time for you as compared as you need to analyze the data. Because of if you are taking so long in recording or interview sessions, or you dragging the timings far from the specific objective of your study, so the information you get is very not deep. It's very little information that you get as compared to what you should get during the session. Okay, this is the guideline in writing the findings, which is you need to introduce the data analysis first. You need to describe the process of data coding. In Atlas CI, you can coding, and also you can come up with what we call that mind mapping, or even bar chart and so forth. Also, you can come up with the Atlas CI automatically. Okay. Data organization, data exploration, and regulation as well. Okay, that is so long to explain on this the guideline in the writing of the finding. And last but not least is the tips in writing the finding I sharing here. The example here during the example in this is the writing in the text lah, which is during the data analysis process, themes and pattern emerge from the interviews, which is providing value insight into the participant experience. And the following excerpt from participants A interview is illustrate the themes of resilience and personal growth. So you put some interview excerpt. You cannot put all whatever informer saying. You just taking the most important that relate to the resilience and personal growth just now. Okay. Okay. Thank you everyone for listening to me. I pass to the moderator, our moderator today.
If you have any queries, you can ask.
Maybe I can share my slide to everyone.
Okay, ma'am. Any questions?
Actually, it's very huge topic for qualitative. If you, I'm just cover part of surface of that. Anyone have question?
Ma'am, I don't have any question, but thank you because you said that you are going to share the slides. It's really
Okay.
going to be of great resource. Thank you for this informative session.
Thank you. Thank you. I hope everyone is clear with my presentation.
Okay, thank you so much, ma'am, for this wonderful section. Thank you so much.
And thank you so much. So see you next time. Bye.
Okay, ma'am. Now I invite Kavya Chandran to do the second section.
Now we move on to the second speaker, Dr. B. Harshini, former professor, Department of English, MGR Educational and Research Institute, Chennai, presently working as Assistant Professor, PG and Research Department of English at Raj College for Women, Chennai. It's my immense pleasure to invite Dr. B. Harshini to the scenario. Over to you, ma'am.
Just a few seconds back, I lost the internet connection, and so I couldn't show the introduction. Anyway,
Okay,
thank you, Kavya ma'am, for the warm introduction. And today, I'm happy to be here once again. And today, my topic is going to be completely on research ethics. Okay, what we need to follow when doing research, and what are the many forms of ethics, and what needs to be avoided in research writing process. Okay, so this is what my presentation is going to cover about. Okay, so give me a second to share my screen. Is the slide visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. So ethics and research. Okay, now see, ethics is knowing the difference between what you have to do and what is right to do. Okay, you need to know the difference between what you have to do and what exactly is right to do. Okay, you have to understand the difference and accordingly go for what is accurate for the research process. Okay, then see, understanding research ethics. See, ethics are moral principles that govern a person's behavior. See, normally a person's behavior is governed by his values, the principles that he follows, and so on. Okay, it makes him a complete human being. Same way, in the research process, also we need to follow ethics. Okay, so ethics are the moral principles that govern a person's behavior. Research ethics may be referred to as doing what is morally and legally right in research. So, what is actually right and what is wrong, we need to understand the difference, and accordingly, we need to carry our research work forward. Okay, we need to take only the legally right steps when it comes to research writing. Okay, because there are so many ways in which we can go in the other direction, but we are not supposed to do that. Okay, maybe on that particular time we will not be knowing what mistake we have done, but later it will have a serious impact. Okay, so we need to be very, very careful when it comes to research, especially because when it comes to research, it is out of your own curiosity, it is out of your own passion that you're doing. Okay, so if you follow ethics and accordingly you carry on research, it will be a successful, appreciative work. Otherwise, it will be a failure. Maybe not now, maybe later on, it will have a serious impact, as I told you earlier. Okay, paying attention to ethics helps to distinguish between right and wrong and acceptable and unacceptable behavior. Okay, you need to pay attention to ethics, which helps to distinguish between what is right, what is wrong, what is acceptable, and what is unacceptable behavior. Okay, and as we all know, research is a multi stage process. and ethics are central to the research process. In each stage of the research, we need to follow ethics. It is not that in one particular stage we need to follow ethics, and other stages we just do whatever is wrong. It's not that. All the stages which we carry on in the research, we need to follow ethics properly. Okay. Researchers need to take care of various ethical issues at different levels of this process. So you need to take care of various ethical issues where at different levels of the research process. Okay. Then, see, why is it important to follow ethics in research? See, why do people talk about ethics always? Why actually it is important to follow ethics in research? See, ethics uphold the aims of research such as knowledge, truth, and avoidance of error. Okay, ethics helps to uphold whatever the aims of research are. Okay, knowledge, truth, and avoiding of errors. Okay, prevention of fabricating, falsifying, or misrepresenting the research data, promote truth and minimize error. Okay, this kind of when you prevent this kind of fabricating, falsifying, and misrepresenting data, it is actually you are traveling in the right path, you are traveling towards a truthful path, and you are in the process of minimizing errors. Okay, then ethical standards promote the values that are essential to collaborative work, such as trust, accountability, mutual respect, and fairness. See, when you take up ethical standards, when you co-join with other people when it comes to research work, you actually keep up to their trust. Okay, suppose your supervisor is allowing you to take care of your research work, and he is placing his complete trust, his her complete trust on you. Okay, so when you're doing a collaborative work, you need to see that you uphold the trust, accountability, mutual respect, and you are fair at all times. Okay. Then ethics and research simulate a variety of other important moral and social values, such as social responsibility. It is not only that you are doing research for yourself, but it is a social responsibility that you are doing. Okay. You are proving something for the benefit of the society. To prove something that is beneficial for the society, you need to be true. Okay, you need to be true. Your research has to be true. Okay, it should not be copied from somebody else. It should not be like fabricating data. It should not be like taking somebody's work and claiming it as your own, so on. Okay, then human rights, animal welfare, compliance with the law, and public health and safety. So all these we need to follow so that we uphold the values of ethics and research. Clear? Then, see, what are the three objectives of research ethics? The first and comprehensive objective to guard, protect human participants, their dignity, rights, and welfare. Okay. The second objective to make sure that research is directed in a manner that assists welfare of persons, groups, and or civilization as a whole. Then the third objective to inspect particular research events and themes for their ethical reliability, considering issues such as controlling risk, protection of privacy, and the progression of informed consent. So you need to follow all the three objectives very carefully. Okay, then see, what is ethical ethos? Researchers have to take sole responsibility for the ethical conduct of their own research. See, when you are taking up the research work, it is your responsibility to see that you follow all the ethics pertaining to research. It is your work, and you should not manipulate or fabricate your research by copying from somebody else. Okay, you should not manipulate your own research work. It is actually cheating yourself. Okay, cheating yourself and cheating others also. Then, in simple terms, it can be said that ethics are researchers' responsibility. Okay, ethics is your responsibility, and it is your responsibility to follow ethics properly. Then, first and foremost, responsibility of a researcher is to take care of the safety, dignity, rights, and well-being of the participants. You need to keep your research readers in mind, whoever is going to follow your research work, and take it as an example to do further research. You need to be true to them. Okay, it is your responsibility to see that you carry on research with utmost care and responsibility. Then researchers have to take care of various other issues at different stages of the research process. You have to take care of various other issues also at different stages. There are many stages, as I told you earlier. It is a multi-stage process. Okay, so you have to take care of each and every stage in your research process. Researchers have to take care of the participants' right and must consider the research from participants' perspective. Okay, so you should not only think about yourself, but you should think about all other participants who are going to take your research as an example. Okay, then ethical concerns in India. See, research ethics differ from method to method. See, from country to country, method to method, everything differs. Each country, each university, each college has different research methodology. Okay, so it differs. Most importantly, ethics also vary from place to place. Place to place, it varies. For example, see a Christian lady in white indicates a bride. Okay, when you see a Christian lady wearing white, it indicates a bride, while a Hindu lady in white indicates a widow. Okay, so you need to be very careful when you mention all this. Okay, then in most cases, cultures in India vary from state to state and even from city to city. Culture also varies. In every state, culture varies. Okay, then so researchers should have depth knowledge of cultures and other things of the place they are working in. So you need to take care of the cultural surroundings. Okay, and what kind of atmosphere you're working in, and accordingly you have to carry on your research work. Okay, they must work within the framework suitable for all the customs, traditions, languages, caste, creed, colors, classes, religions, regions, etc. Okay, then during the research, the researchers must keep in mind the wide economical knowledge and technological gap between the people of India. So when you're undertaking research, you have to keep in mind the wide economical knowledge and technological gap. You have to understand the gaps. Okay, the economical gap, knowledge gap, technological gap between the people of the country which you're working. It's not only in India, whichever country you're in, you have to take care of the gaps, and accordingly you have to carry on your research work. Okay, so this is ethical concerns. Then researchers' obligations. See, the researchers have to take care of various obligations during the research process. They must ensure that the research is conducted with honesty, objectivity, and integrity. They must seek consent from the participants for their participation. For example, if you are involving some participant for your research work, you have to respect their people, their cultures, values, religion, economic status, and so on, and accordingly decide whatever you need to decide. Keep all these in mind and accordingly take on your framework further. Then researchers have an obligation to take care of the confidentiality and personal information or identity of the participants as per their choice. See, for example, you are taking questionnaire and going to a particular institution, or want to take a survey from the common people of the country. You need to maintain the confidentiality in case they say that their name will not be mentioned, or you should not use their name further. You need to take care of all that. Okay, you have to respect their feelings. Okay, then they should avoid experiments which may pose a threat to both the participants and the researchers themselves. So they should avoid experiments which pose danger to the participants and the researcher. Okay. So apart from the participants, the researcher also has an obligation towards society, colleagues, or other researchers and funders of the project. So apart from the participants, the researcher also has to keep in mind that he is working in common parlance with the society, the colleagues, and other researchers, and whoever is funding the project. The researchers have to keep in mind when taking further steps. Okay, then participants' rights. See, participants have the exclusive right to give consent to participate, withdraw from, or refuse to take part in the research process. Nobody can force the participants to take part in the research process. It is up to them. It is up to the researcher to convince them, say that their identity will be maintained confidential and all this, and then make them participate. Still, if they are not willing to participate, they have complete rights to withdraw from the research work. Okay, they have right to seek confidentiality and stop personal information or identifiable data from publishing or sharing. See, research is not only about a particular subject, it's of various subjects. People who are doing on social work, so they may have lots of personal information to get from the participant. So they have to understand the participants' feelings, whether they are really interested or whether they want to share any particular things or whether they are not willing to share. All this they need to keep in mind, and without forcing them, they need to see that everything goes on smoothly. Okay, they have the right to seek their safety and security. Whenever required, the data should be kept secure and participants should not be exposed to unnecessary or disproportionate level of risk. Okay, so the data which you are collecting from the participants should not be exposed to unnecessary or disproportionate level of risk. You have to see, they are believing you and they are giving the information. It is up to you to see that you maintain them with utmost confidentiality, and also see that it doesn't affect them seriously. Okay, then factors contributing to unethical conduct in research. See, competition. Why unethical conduct in research is happening? It is because of competition. Increasing number of researchers, increasing numbers of researchers, and greater societal impact of research outcomes, typically in the form of publication or patent, have escalated the competition. The increasingly stiff competition places unrealistic demands on winning the race. See, earlier, people who do PhD, people who publish papers would be very rare. Okay, maybe in a university there will be only few people showing interest in research, and PhD was considered a very big degree. Okay, and not many people were interested in doing PhD, or many people they don't want to take the risk because of so many factors. But now universities demand that all the staff members whoever join, maybe in the before they appoint the people for their university, they say in the advertisement that PhD is preferable. Okay, so this has escalated the competition, and that is why many people are in the rush of doing research, publish papers, journals. Okay, and because of this competition, so many fake journals have arrived, and we have to lose such a lot of money also because of this. Okay, then this because everyone is towards winning the race. Okay, the race is for personal gain, such as appointment for a position. So why actually before research is out of your own curiosity, out of your own interest, but now it is like just you want to win the race. Okay, the race is for personal gain, such as appointment for a position, promotion, getting an award, or any other kind of recognition. Okay, people always want to be recognized, and so they don't think about anything else. They just feel that they have to publish some paper, and it doesn't matter whether they take interest in publishing, or if they take help from somebody else in publishing the paper. They want their name to be highlighted. That is what is happening nowadays. Okay, such competition for personal end drives some individuals to find shortcut and resort to behavior and acts that are considered unethical. And because of this stiff competition, people are losing control of what they actually have to do, and they are traveling in the wrong direction. Okay, then claiming priority. See, research output is owned by researchers, and such ownership is recognized and rewarded by society in one form or other. Hence, the desire to claim ownership is natural. Okay, see, whatever the research output the researcher is bringing, it is their research, their own work. Okay, this ownership is recognized and rewarded by society, and the society and the institution reward such researchers. Hence, the desire to claim ownership is quite natural. Okay, with multiple individual group working on similar topics, similarly, especially those that are considered to be hot at a given time, competition is bound to be very, very intense. Okay, which may prompt some to find unethical shortcuts to take the claim ahead of others. See, for example, if a particular group is claiming that they need the researchers need to work on a particular topic, and if that particular topic is going to gain international recognition, okay, what happens is many people, out of curiosity to win the international recognition, they don't understand what they are doing, whether they are interested or not. They just want to participate in the race just because they want to claim priority and they want to be a part of the competition. Okay, so all this leads to unethical research work. Okay, then ranking. See, the expanded system of ranking of research now covers a wide canvas extending from individual researchers to journals and institutions at national and international levels. Everyone wants ranking. The universities need ranking, the journals need ranking, people need ranking. So, this ranking system is causing such a bad effect on the people that they are forced to do it at any cost, whether unmindful of the ethical or unethical conduct which they are going to follow. Okay, the ranking is not only associated with prestige but also with funding that can be provided for research. This ranking is not only associated with prestige but also with the amount that they are going to get, okay, for that particular research work. With resources being limited, the race to win a higher ranking is becoming more intense and global, bringing in its wake the loss of academic and research integrity. Okay, because see, in what interest of winning rank, no, they don't bother whether they are having sufficient resources, okay, or whether they are really capable of claiming that ranking. But what happens is just because they need to claim that rank, they are doing so many they are going to so many unethical ways, and because of this the academic and research integrity is completely lost. Okay, then prestige associated with journal impact factor. So during the past 3-4 decades, the journal impact factor, that is JIF, has gained prominence in assessing the quality of research output of individuals as well as institutions. This has resulted in a hierarchy of journals, so that some journals in each discipline are considered to be better than others because their arithmetic impact factor value is higher. Okay, because of this, now lots of journals have come into force now. Okay, such practices lead to loss of integrity in the conduct of research and are unethical practices in dissemination of research. Oh, because of this, we are really unable to understand which journal is actually very good when it comes to research work. This kind of impact factor is causing a stir in the research world, and people are confused actually which journal to go for and which journal is fake, which journal is really good. Okay, then this happening in the past 3-4 decades only. Before that, this kind of practice was not at all there. Then poor infrastructure for research in universities and colleges. See, some research universities know they allow all sorts of research, whether they have the resources, whether they have the infrastructure or not. They just allow the researchers to carry on the research work in their universities, unmindful of the fact that they have that particular infrastructure or resources in the university. They just want name for themselves. Okay, universities and colleges as institutions of higher education have the dual responsibility of disseminating knowledge to the learners and of creating new knowledge through research. Unfortunately, most universities and colleges have neither the conducive environment nor the minimally needed infrastructure. Okay, they just ask the participants to go ahead with their research work. I know many universities, they allow people to do research work, but they don't have sufficient books for the students to refer for their particular research. Then how can they allow the students to do research at the university? It happens in most places. Okay, that for that particular subject, they allow the researchers to carry on the research work just because they need name for themselves, but they don't. They are not aware of the fact that they don't have the particular resources or the particular books needed for the researcher to carry on the research work smoothly. Okay, so this kind of unethical situations happening everywhere. Then yet the faculty is required to engage in research and get evaluated on the basis of published output. So such conditions, what happens? So what will the researcher do if there are no sufficient infrastructure? Either the participant has to get from somebody else or take data from somewhere else and put it as his her own data. That's what can happen. If the college is able to provide proper infrastructure, if the university is able to provide proper infrastructure, everything needed for the particular research, then there is no chance of that particular researcher going in the wrong direction, maybe claiming somebody's work as his or her own. Okay, and they also will be given a particular time frame, and they will be asked to finish the research work within that particular time frame. All this will cause a lot of stress on the part of researchers, and because of that they will resort to unethical means. Okay, then emphasis on quantity rather than quality. See, publish or perish syndrome is gaining prominence across the globe. Okay, you all will agree with me that publish or perish syndrome is gaining popularity across the globe in all academic institutions. It is either publish or perish. Okay, where the institutional requirements of certain minimal number of research publications for eligibility and calculation of the academic performance index for inter-C comparison, the rush for research publication has become more demanding just because they need a rank, like NAC grade or ISO or whatever it is. They just push the staff members toward publishing more number of papers. Okay, just because they want to increase their score. Okay, so what happens as a consequence? The predatory journals appeared and are flourishing. Okay, researchers are in desperate need of some publications to their credit so that they can fulfill their institutional requirement. So what happens to the researchers is they are in a desperate need of publishing research work in some journal or the other, even by paying a lot of money. Okay, they don't understand whether that journal is fake or true or whatever, and by the time the paper gets published, they will that particular journal will never be in the journals list at all, or the journals will collect money and they will not publish. And when the researcher contacts that particular journal again, there will be no response. So this is what is happening, and there are lots of mediators. Okay, where we need to give a lot of money, and finally they disappear. Okay, without keeping up their promise. Okay, so all these problems happen. See, what is research ethics? See, research ethics is you need to uphold integrity. You have to have respect for your research work. You need to follow the rules and regulations. You need to do justice to your research, dignity, confidentiality. You have to understand the competence, moral principles, ethical practices, values, privacy, honesty, beneficence, autonomy, and non-maleficence. If you follow all this, it means that you are following research ethics correctly. Okay, then see, plagiarism is a serious form of unethical conduct in research. Okay, see, one of the most common types of publication misconduct is plagiarism, where one author deliberately uses others' work without permission, credit, or acknowledgement. Okay, so we all know what is plagiarism is, and now there are so many softwares which check plagiarism. Okay, so plagiarism takes different forms from literal copying to paraphrasing someone else's work and can include data, words and phrases, ideas and concepts. Plagiarism has varying different levels of severity, such as how much of someone's work was taken, a few lines, paragraphs, pages, the full article, what was the copied, results, methods, or introduction section. Researchers should always remember that crediting the work of others is a critical part of the process. See, whatever the work you take from others, you need to duly acknowledge. If you don't acknowledge, it comes under the act of plagiarism. That researchers have to seriously keep in mind. Okay, then plagiarism, literal copying. What is the first form of plagiarism? It is literal copying. Literal copying is reproducing a work word for word in whole or in part without permission and acknowledgement of the original source, without taking due permission and acknowledgement from the original source. You just literally copy that and put it as if it is your own work. It is unethical and is only acceptable if you reference the source and put quotation marks around the copied text. Okay, it is purely unethical and is acceptable only if you reference the source and put quotation marks around the copied text. Excuse me. So what is the best way to avoid this? The best way is to keep track of sources used while researching and where it is used in the paper. Okay, The original source should be fully acknowledged and properly cited. Whatever, even if you copy a word or a sentence, you need to duly acknowledge the particular author. Okay, so this is what actually ethical research means. Then plagiarism to substantial copying. This can include research materials, processes, tables, or equipment. It is unethical because substantial can be defined as both quantity and quality of what was copied. If the work captures the essence of another's work, it should be cited. If you copy somebody's work, it should be duly cited. Okay. In other words, if a researcher's work has been benefited largely from the skill and judgment of the original author, then substantial copying has taken place. Okay, so if the researcher is going to get benefited due to others' work without acknowledging that particular author or source, then it means that substantial copying has taken place. If so, the researcher should be sure to cite the original source. If the particular author or researcher shouldn't be caught in that kind of substantial copy, then he has to make sure that he duly acknowledges the source. Okay, then plagiarism 3 is paraphrasing. See, many people think that paraphrasing is not wrong actually. See, paraphrasing is not wrong provided you understand the source properly and collect your own ideas. You collect from various sources, put it in your mind, and whatever you feel about that in your own words, if you have understood and if you write, it is not wrong. But what people do is when another person has written a paragraph, you just change the word. Okay, change the word, synonyms, whatever it is, and you paraphrase it. That is actually wrong. If you do that, you have to acknowledge the source. Okay, paraphrasing is reproducing someone else's ideas. See, that particular person would have taken a lot of time to give his particular idea. Okay, and if you copy that idea by just reproducing, changing the words and sentences, then it is actually plagiarism without permission and acknowledgement of the original source. Paraphrasing is only acceptable if the source is properly referenced while also making sure that the meaning intended by the source is not changed. Okay, the researcher should make sure to understand what the original author means. Actually, when it comes to paraphrasing, first you need to understand what that particular person is trying to say in his work and whether it will be suitable for your work. And you also have to refer so many other sources also, collect the ideas, and you have to implement your own idea in your research work. Okay, that is actually ethics, ethical conduct. Okay, but when you copy word by word or without giving due acknowledgement to that particular author, then it comes under plagiarism. Okay, they should never copy and paste words that is not fully understood. You should never do that. If you are going to paste words and if you're going to copy it as it is and just change the word, then if you have not understood that particular message fully, then you are falling under the web of plagiarism. Okay, plagiarism for text recycling. This is similar to paraphrasing, reproducing portions of the author's own work in a paper and resubmitting it for publication as an entirely new paper. Then creating several publications from the same research is considered manipulative. Okay, all this you can understand, I believe. The researcher should make sure to put anything in quote that is taken directly from a previously published paper, even if it is using something in own words. Okay, even if it is being or using something in own words, the researcher has to make sure that he puts it in quotes and gives you acknowledgement to that particular author. They should make sure to reference the source accordingly. Okay, then research fraud. What is research fraud? Research fraud is publishing data or conclusions that were not generated by experiments or observations without conducting any observation, just because somebody else has taken efforts to take the particular data or arrive at a conclusion. You just copy from that particular work and put it as your own. This is called research fraud. Okay, but by invention or data manipulation, there are two kinds in research and scientific publication. Fabrication. making up research data and results and recording and reporting them. Okay, then falsification, manipulating research materials, images, data, equipment, or processes, copying that particular image and claiming it as your own image. Okay, then falsification includes changing or omitting data or results in such a way that the research is not accurately represented. You just take bits from that, and put it as what um, not a correct statement, okay, which is not accurately represented. Research fraud. Both fabrication and falsification are serious forms of misconduct because the result in scientific record that does not accurately reflect observed truth. You would not have observed anything. You would not have taken effort to conduct experiments or do proper research, but you just take bits from everywhere and put it as your own work. This research fraud. This is kind of falsification and fabrication. Okay, then what is salami slicing? See, publishing small slices of research in several different papers is called salami publication or salami slicing. It is unethical. Why it is unethical? Because it can result in a distortion of the literature by leading unsuspecting readers to believe that data presented in these slides is derived from a different subject sample. See, it is totally unethical. This salami publication or salami slicing is considered unethical because readers know when they read your work, they if they are new to that particular research work, they will be made to believe that the data presented in each slide is derived from different subject sample. Okay, avoid inappropriately breaking up data from a single study into two or more papers. When submitting a paper, be completely transparent, be true to everything. So this salami slicing should be avoided. Then misrepresenting a scientist's relation to their work. See, according to ICMJE, ICMJE is the International Committee for Medical Journal Editors. Okay, all persons designated as authors should qualify for authorship, and all those who qualify should be listed. Misinterpretation also includes ghost, guest, and gift authors. Review the journal's instruction for authors before submitting a paper and be forthright about all contributors. This includes substantial contributions, paid writers, and any others who contributed to the study. Okay, so this you need to bear in mind. Then, dual submission. See, this kind of dual submission, this involves submitting the same articles to multiple journals at the same time. See, why many journals, many well-known journals, good journals reject paper even after you have taken so much of effort to write the paper. Why actually it is happening? Let me give you an idea. See, when you prepare a particular work, go for have a particular journal in mind. Okay, if you really feel that you need your work to be published in that particular journal, understand that particular journal's requirements. What are the objectives of that particular journal? How actually they want the research work to be? Understand that and accordingly prepare your paper. Don't prepare a general paper and send it to too many journals for publication. Each journal has its own requirements, has its own objectives, has its own scope. Okay, so you need to understand all that, and you need to have a particular journal in mind, a very good journal which you feel that if you publish in that, it will bring a good name to you. Have that particular journal in mind, go to its website, understand how actually they want the paper to be, how others have published the paper in that particular journal, how they have successfully published, and what is lacking in yours, and how you need to reframe your paper. All this you need to work out, and after you have successfully done and when you submit it there, chances are that it will definitely be published. Okay, but what actually happens is researchers, what they do is they prepare a general paper and they send it to too many journals for publication, and because of that they face rejection. This can be avoided if they have a particular journal in mind, understand that particular journal scope and requirement, and do their paper accordingly and publish it in that particular journal. Likewise for other journals also. Okay, so this wastes the time and effort of multiple reviewers of different journals, and in case if it gets published, then it is very confusing for the readers or the researchers as to which article to consider for citation. This also, for example, if 2, 3 journals publish your work, then how it will be very hard for the researchers or readers as to from which actually article they should cite their work. Okay, cite a particular work. Then sometimes the dual publishing submissions contain the same content, maybe maybe in different languages, which is also not considered as an ethical practice. Okay, so this kind of dual submission, same content but in different languages, that also is not correct. Then see, what is ghost authorship? This usually refers to professional writers, often paid by commercial sponsors whose role is not acknowledged. Ghost authors is like they are at the back. Okay, they are professional writers. They will be paid, but they will not come to in the forefront when the work is published. Just like a surrogate mother. Okay, the mother does all the work, gives birth to the baby, and then goes away. Okay, they'll be paid. Same thing, ghost authorship. Unattributed or contribution to data analysis may also constitute ghost authorship. Not acknowledging a writer's contribution is considered dishonest. Okay, then professional writers who participated only in drafting of a manuscript and did not have a role in design or conduct of the study or the interpretation of the result should be identified in the acknowledgement section along with information about potential conflicts of interest, including whether they were compensated for the writing assistance, if so, by which entity. See, actually, ghost authorship, we cannot say it is wrong because the idea is of the researchers, but they will not know how to put it in a proper form. So they depend on ghost writers. There's nothing wrong. But what actually they should do is they have to acknowledge that particular writer in the research publication and or make clear whether everything has been cleared with them and whether they have accepted to all this, because tomorrow they should not come and claim that this particular paper is mine and that person has copied. Okay, so if this kind of conflict can be avoided if everything is clear before publication itself. Okay, then consult the authorship guidelines of the journal, consult other helpful resources including ICMJE, World Association of Medical Editors, European Medical Writers Association, and the American Medical Writers Association. Make clear about everything. Then, gift and guest authorship. See, authorship based on a tenuous affiliation with the study or solely on an expectation that inclusion of a particular name will improve the chances that the study will be published. See, actually, when a particular author has published a lot of papers and including that particular person's name in your journal will actually increase the chances of publication, then it is called gift and guest authorship. Okay, so guest and gift authors make no discernible contribution. They will actually not contribute anything, but just that particular author who has contributed to that research would like to add that particular person's name, because if that particular name is there, then the journals will consider the paper for publication because it is a well-known name. That is what, but they will not make any contribution to the paper. Any gift and guest contribution should be inspected prior to submitting a paper. So the journals have to take care of all this before that particular person who has written the paper should take care of all these contributions, inspect priorly before submitting the paper. If in doubt about whether the contribution is acceptable or not, consult the authorship. Yeah, even authorship guidelines will be there for the particular journal. Okay, the author, the researcher who is going to publish this paper in that particular journal should go through the author's guidelines. There they would have given about guest, ghost, and gift authors and what actually has to be done if it is in case of them. Okay, then accordingly they have to move forward. Okay, this will make it more easy and very clear with the publication process. The conflict of interest. This arises when authors have a financial or personal interest, which consequently influences his or actions, judgments, and content being published. This is also called as competing interest or competing loyalties. Such undeclared conflicts of interest are treated as ethical practice. If they have conflict of interest, that particular person has not agreed to this, but still the person has gone forward and gone ahead with the research work, then conflict of interest arises. Okay, what happens to this conflict of interest is it affects the opinions or conclusion drawn from the study, and if the conflict of interest are revealed later on, the reader may feel misled or deceived. Okay, if the conflict of interest is not sorted out in the beginning itself, then the particular reader may feel like he is being misled or he has been fooled into believing that it is right. Okay, hence such conflict of interest must be revealed to the editor or publisher while submitting the manuscript, and then it is left to the journal whether to disclose the conflict of interest at the footer of the publication or straight away reject such submission on the basis of such conflict. That is why some journals they ask the author to give conflict of interest as a statement below the paper. Okay, if they accept, they can go ahead with the publication. If not, the journal has entire full rights to reject or publish the paper. Okay, it is up to them. Citation manipulation. See, many times authors include the citations whose mere purpose is to increase number of citations to the given author's work. Okay, authors should also refrain themselves from excessive citing of their own previous work or their friend, colleagues, or institution publication if they have not actually read. Researchers must also avoid copying the references from other publication if they have not gone through the cited work. Without going through the cited work, just because it will add weightage to your work if you cite, then it is going to be utter waste. Okay, you have to go through that particular paper or what the particular author has tried to say in his paper, understand it, and then cite the work. Okay, so just because you need to increase the number of citations for your work, you just cannot cite blindfoldly. Okay, you need to understand what the particular author has said, whether that particular statement or a paragraph or whatever he has stated has some has been related to the work which you have carried out, and then you need to cite. Okay, so this is very important. Then, advantages of research ethics. See, research ethics promotes the aims of research. It increases trust among the researcher and the respondent. It is important to adhere to ethical principles in order to protect the dignity, rights, and welfare of research participants. Researchers, excuse me, 1 second. Okay. Researchers can be held accountable and answerable for their actions. Ethics promote social and moral values. Okay. Promote the ambitions of research such as understanding, veracity, and doctrine of error. Helps in avoidance of error. Ethical standards uphold the values that are vital to cooperative work, such as belief, vulnerability, mutual respect, and impartiality. Ethical norms and research also aid to construct public upkeep of research. People are more likely to trust a research project if they trust the worth and reliability of the research. See, if there is proper trust on the particular research work, then whenever the author or the researcher publishes more, okay, in a particular journal or whatever, readers will show much interest to go through that particular work because they'll feel that it is a true work, okay, rather than falsification or fabricated work. Okay, so you need to maintain the trust of the readers at all times. Okay, only then your research will have true value. Ensuring ethics at different steps of research. We collect the facts and talk over intellectual belongings openly, outline the ethical matters, detect the affected parties, ascertain the forfeits, recognize the responsibilities, principal rights, justice, contemplate personality and truthfulness, deliberate innovatively about possible action, respect privacy and confidentiality, resolve on the appropriate ethical action, and be willing to deal with divergent point of view. So all this you have to keep in mind to see that your research work goes on smoothly and there is no problem at all in future also. Okay, so collect all the facts properly, talk about intellectual belongings openly before taking them into your research. Whatever the ethical matters are, outline it earlier itself. Detect the affected parties. If there are any stakeholders, you just identify, and whatever the problem is because of that, we solve it. Okay, so recognize the research responsibilities and act accordingly. So all this will help in maintaining ethics at different steps of research work. Okay, then research supervisor student relationship. Research has shown that effectual direction can significantly influence the quality of the PhD and its eventual success or failure. Since the doctoral degree is generally the last step in formal learning, a good foundation in ethical practices is essential to prepare quality researchers who can be effective leaders in times to come. Supervisor needs to ensure adequate training of research students on safe, ethical, and appropriate usages of the various research methods and equipment. Supervisors should be very cautious in informing the researchers beforehand on what needs to be followed and what should not be followed. They should be guiding their students to follow ethical practices at all times of their research work. Whenever, when it comes to publishing, right from the time of writing a research proposal to publishing a paper in a journal to finally publishing their research work, the supervisor should be guiding the students to follow ethical practices always. They should not at all be diverted at any time. Okay, then students should be encouraged to read widely. The problem with why all this kind of unethical practices comes forward is because there is lack of reading skills among the students. Okay, because of lack of reading skills, people want to go for easy way. Okay, they want to get their degree, but at the same time they don't want to put any effort, and because they don't have the habit of reading, they don't have sufficient knowledge to go further in their research work, and because of that, lot of unethical practices take place. Okay, so the supervisor should ask the students to read widely, to participate in seminars and discussion meetings, and to periodically present their own data to improve their ability to effectively communicate. Research students need to be encouraged and provided with opportunities to improve their writing skills. Okay, in the first stage of the research work, when the researcher comes to the supervisor for the research work, actually there will be sufficient time in the beginning. That particular year, that first year, or at least 6 months, intense training should be given to improve the writing skills of the students. The researcher should be asked to read more, bring in their own work, and the supervisor should take efforts to correct the work of the particular student. Okay, if this is done, definitely this kind of unethical practices can be avoided. Okay, then different perspectives of publication ethics. Moral perspective, moral perspective to publication ethics. Moral public perspective to publication ethics refer to publication and publishing of false or fabricated data. Professional perspective refers to not giving due credit to contributing authors. Legal perspective involves violation of copyright or other intellectual properties. Okay, so all these three has to be kept in mind: moral, professional, and legal perspective. The moral perspective for publication ethics refers to publishing false or fabricated data. Then professional perspective refers to not giving proper credit to the contributing authors. Then legal perspective involves violation of copyright or other intellectual properties. So these are the different perspectives of publication ethics. Okay, then responsible research publication, accuracy and reliability. The research being reported should have been conducted in an ethical and responsible manner and follow all relevant registration. Authors should take collective responsibility for their work and for the content of their publication. Researchers should check their publications carefully at all stages to ensure methods and findings are reported accurately. Authors should carefully check calculation, data presentation, typescript submission, and proof. So when they go for any doctoral committee meeting or anything, the doctoral committee members should ensure that the work is their own work, and they should check whether the particular experiment has been carried out by that particular student, and if not, they should question more on that particular data or experiment or whatever it is, and ensure that it has been solely carried out by that particular Inappropriate data manipulation. Research images should not be modified in a misleading way. Researchers should strive to describe their methods and present their findings clearly and unambiguously. Okay. Authors should alert the editor promptly if they discover an error, if any submitted, accepted, or published work. So, honesty is the best policy that has to be followed throughout the research work. Okay. They should present their results honestly without fabricating, falsification, and manipulating of data. Okay. Research images should not be, they should not modify the research images and mislead the readers. Okay, researchers should strive to describe their methods and present their findings clearly and without any falsification. They should alert the editor promptly if they discover an error in any submitted, accepted, or published work. Okay, if they find that that particular work has some error, they should immediately bring to the notice of the particular editor, and before that editor publishes, he can send it back to the author, and the author can make the necessary corrections and give it back as a true work. Okay, so this kind of honesty should be followed by all researchers. Okay, then balance. New findings should be presented in the context of previous research. The work of others should be fairly represented. Scholarly reviews and synthesis of existing research should be complete, balanced, and should include findings regardless of whether they support the hypothesis or interpretation being proposed. Editorial or opinion pieces representing a single viewpoint or argument should be clearly distinguished from scholarly reviews. Study limitations should be addressed in the publication. Whatever the limitations are there in the study, it should be addressed in the paper or the research work itself, so that future researchers will keep in mind about that and they will work further. Okay, so the balance should be proper. Then originality, as you all know, the work that you publish should be original and it should not be a copied one. They should adhere to the publication requirements at all times, and they should ensure that their work is original and has not been published anywhere in any language. Okay, then all this you know actually. Then work should not be submitted concurrently to more than one publication unless the editors have agreed to co-publication. If articles are co-published, this fact should be made clear to the reader. If it is co-published, if it is published in two different journals, then the author has to make sure that the readers come to know about it. Applicable copyrights and conventions should be followed. Copyright material should be reproduced only with appropriate permission and acknowledgement. Okay, then transparency. Researchers should see that they maintain transparency at all times. They should be very, very transparent in their research work. Okay, they should not reveal their relevant financial and non-financial interests and relationships that might be likely to affect the interpretation of their findings. They should be very, very silent. But at the same time, once the research work is published, the work should be very transparent and should be understood by all sections of academicians. Okay, so transparency should be, authors should disclose the role of the research funders, sponsors in the research design, execution, analysis, interpretation, and reporting. They should be very, very transparent in all these matters. Okay, then acknowledgement. The research literature serves as a record not only of what has been discovered, but also of who made the discovery. The authorship of research publications should be therefore accurately reflect individuals' contribution to the work and its reporting. Authors should not use acknowledgements misleadingly or imply a contribution or endorsement by individuals who have not in fact been involved with the work or given an endorsement. Okay, so acknowledgement is very, very important. So all authors should be read the journal's requirements and be responsible towards the publication of their research work. They should abide by all the rules and regulations and make sure the software that they use, everything is done in a responsible manner. Authors should respond appropriately to post-publication comments and published correspondence. Okay, if they get any negative comments from reviewers or positive comments, whatever it is, they should see that they should act responsibly and see that everything is properly solved. Okay, only then the research work will grow. Otherwise, if they are not going to show any interest, it is going to stop. Okay, so this is one thing. Then solutions to prevent misconduct. See, select collaborators very carefully. When in doubt about ethical issues, withdraw from study or declare all possible conflicts of interest, financial or otherwise. Scientific bodies and governments in India must have a supervisory body and an office of research integrity, like in the WISPI or shit like that. Then these institutions must be filled with people of flawless integrity. See, wherever they go, they should ensure that researchers are working with due integrity. Okay, it is not totally that the researcher should be, or the people whom he's working with should also be honest and should strive towards the development of research. Okay, then finally, once again, prevention is better than cure. There must be undergraduate and post-graduation education in various fields of research ethics. Honesty is the best policy. Then conclusion, the research is primarily a self-driven and self-satisfying human enterprise which has social extension. When you're doing a research work, definitely it is going to have a wide impact and going to have social extension. The present scenario has unfortunately transformed research as a market-driven activity which may generate wealth but often lead to hard-hitting consequences later. So you need to be very, very careful. You have to follow research ethics at all times. If you're going to follow research ethics properly, then chances are that there will not be any problem for you, even if there is going to be any big problem in the research process later on. Okay, research integrity and ethical conduct are essential for researchers to really enjoy the pleasure of discovering something and of knowing the unknown. Okay, then effective training of enthusiastic young researchers in good ethical practices is as important as training them effectively in their chosen discipline. Just as you bring in values to a particular child when he is the growing stage, the supervisor should ensure that all ethical practices are followed so that the research takes place with utmost integrity. Okay, personal integrity is essential at all levels. The human society should respect and maintain this unique feature. Okay, so personal integrity is very, very important at all stages of research. Okay, this human society should give due respect and maintain this unique feature. So if done, then definitely research ethics is going to be a successful affair in research work. Then the presenter gratefully acknowledges the below website. So I have acknowledged the website that has helped me in generating points for the presentation that I have done today. Okay, thank you very much.
Now it's time to ask question. If you have any queries, you can ask.
The floor is now open for questions. If you have any questions, please ask.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for the
Yes,
presentation.
sir. Thank you.
Clarity and exhaustiveness are the hallmark of your presentation.
Yeah.
Every bit was really
you.
very, very clear, and the slides were really excellent. Each and every word could be read clearly. Thank you, ma'am. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Your appreciation means a lot to me. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. It was really very, very resourceful. It was so much insightful, and I really appreciate. Thank you so much.